Soft footsteps echoed in the stone corridor. The traveler paused. He had been walking since dawn. The desert had offered no shade, only the long, shimmering breath of the sun. And now, silence. Ahead, half hidden by ivy and thyme, stood the old temple. He stepped inside. The air was cool, still, and scented faintly with dust, and something older, like memory. He moved slowly through shadowed archways, following the sound, the soft trickle of water. At the heart of the temple, he found a pool, deep, square, still, and from high above, through a crack in the ceiling, a single shaft of light fell, touching the surface. The water shimmered like silk, catching the light and tossing it back gently, rippling across the high stone walls. The traveler knelt beside the pool, his reflection blurred and bent with each movement of the surface. He closed his eyes and listened, and then, without knowing how, he heard her voice. Not a sound exactly, not words, not song, but something like memory itself. I am she who was before the rain. I am the stream in the mountain's heart. I am the mother of the rivers and the purity of all beginnings. The traveler inhaled deeply. A warmth settled in his chest, as though the voice had reached into the hollow places of his being and lit a small fire there. And so began her story. Before fire, before cities, before kings carved their names into stone, there was the sky, there was the mountain, and there was water. From the sacred peak of Hara Berezaiti, the mountain that holds up the stars, a spring burst forth, clear and holy. From this spring came a river, and from the river came life. From the waters rose a figure, not born, not made, but flowing forth like light itself. Aredvi Sura Anahita, the high, the mighty, the immaculate. She was tall and radiant, her robes the color of deep lakes, her crown a halo of gold. Her hair shimmered like moonlight on moving water, and in her hands she held both the vessel of life and the spear of protection. She was not just beautiful, she was strong. I am the keeper of the sacred waters. I carry life to women and men. I give milk to mothers, blood to warriors, and growth to the earth. The water flowed from her through mountains, valleys, and plains, through Persia and beyond. She rode in a chariot of silver drawn by 4 immortal horses: wind, rain, cloud, and mist. Wherever her chariot passed, she left behind green things: wheat and barley, pomegranates and vines. Animals came to drink, children played, lovers whispered, soldiers rested. Her waters were not just liquid, they were the veins of the world. Without me, she whispered, nothing grows. With me, even stone may bloom. And the traveler saw her not just as a goddess, but as presence, in the quiet well at the village edge, in the storm rolling in from the east, in the tears on a mother's cheek, in the snow melting on the peak. He breathed in, and again he felt her voice inside him. In time, kings heard of her, and they built temples, great domes with open roofs to let the sky see. At the heart of each was a pool, like this one, sacred, reflecting the heavens, untouched by blood or war. Pilgrims came not to ask, but to listen, to watch the way light moved on water, to feel the hush of stone, holding space for the divine. Stone remembers, she said, and water never forgets. Some say she appeared to those most broken, the lost, the exiled, the childless, the grieving, not to fix, but to flow around them, to carry their sorrow without drowning them in it. I do not erase pain, she whispered. I teach you how to carry it gently. But Anahita was not only kindness and healing. She wore armor too, gold and iron, and stood beside those who fought for justice. Her spear gleamed in the sun. She led no army but stood at every riverbank crossed by soldiers, who fought with clean hands and hearts. She was there when queens defended their cities. She was there when shepherds fought off wolves. She was there when women stood alone against the dark. And the traveler, hearing this, understood. She was not softness. She was strength in stillness. She was not surrender. She was clarity. She was not passive. She was deep. Time, like water, does not stop. The kings fell. The cities turned to dust. The temples of Anahita were swallowed by vines, by silence, by shifting sands. New gods came. New words were carved into stone. And slowly, her name faded. Not with violence, but with forgetting. The sacred pools grew still. Dust covered the altars. Birds nested in the old towers. But the water kept flowing. In hidden places, women still whispered her name when they drew water from the well. A mother might speak it in the dark, rocking a sick child. A traveler, lost in the heat of the day, might feel her presence in a sudden spring by the rocks. She had become, again, what she always was. Not a statue, not a story, but a rhythm, a movement, a hush. You cannot own the river, her voice murmured. You cannot hold the light on the water, but you can sit beside it and listen. The traveler blinked slowly. The water before him stirred, just once, as if touched by breath. Then, a vision. He saw a young priestess, clothed in pale blue. She lived in the temple long ago, tending the sacred spring, offering prayers, singing to the dawn. But one day, she fell in love, not with a prince nor a warrior, but with a humble stonemason who came to repair the temple's steps. He brought her figs in a basket. She brought him clear water in a bronze cup. They met each evening beneath the arches. They never spoke, only eyes, only silence, only stillness. One night, the stars were veiled, and the wind spoke of sorrow. The mason told her, "They are calling me to war. I must go." She nodded once. Her eyes did not weep, but her soul did. She returned to the pool and whispered to Anahita, "Do not bring him back unchanged. Do not take the light from his eyes." The goddess heard her. The mason returned, whole. But the war had carved something out of him. He no longer looked at the stars. He no longer brought figs. The priestess watched him leave for the last time. Then she returned to the water, and she stayed.
Love is like a river,
Anahita whispered.
You do not stop it. You do not hold it. You walk beside it while you can.
The time before forgetting, they held rites beneath the full moon. Women bathed in the sacred water, not to cleanse the body, but the spirit. They walked slowly into the pool, the water reaching their knees, their waists, their hearts. They sang no songs. The silence was the prayer. Some brought hopes, some brought grief, some brought nothing and left with something. I do not ask for gold, the goddess would say. I ask only for presence. And when they emerged, they dried not with cloth, but with moonlight. They walked back to their lives, not changed, but reminded of who they were beneath the noise. The traveler let his fingers trail across the pool's surface. The water felt warm, though no sun touched it. He wondered, what would I ask if I were brave enough to ask?
The traveler leaned forward, letting the light touch his face. He had come seeking nothing, and yet he had found everything he did not know he needed. "Will I remember you?" he asked, though no words left his mouth. The answer came not in voice, but in sensation. "Yes, you will remember. In the hush between thoughts, in the moment you drink and do not rush, in the kindness you give without demand, in the softness of stillness." "I do not live in temples," she said. "I live in presence." He rose. The beam of light still fell on the water, unchanged. He bowed his head, not in worship, but in gratitude, for the water, for the stillness, for the remembering. And when he stepped out into the sun again, he carried the temple with him, not in his hands, but in his breath, in his footsteps, in his silence. Wherever water flows, I am. Wherever a heart listens, I speak. Wherever a soul seeks stillness, I wait. And the temple stood, timeless, the pool shimmered, and her whisper continued, carried by the water, carried by the light, carried by those who remember.